This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, we're going to be traveling through the jungle. And we'll be trying to get some of our different adventurers building the jungle out, trying to get them to their corresponding temple, but not on a board, this time with cards. Today we're looking at Karuba the Card Game. This is the card version of a very popular Spiel des Jahres nominee. This is from Haba. It plays 2 to 6 players. Let me show you how quick and easy it plays, and I'll see you on the other side. Karuba the Card Game can play up to 6 players, and each player gets their own deck of cards, which is their own color. Now, each of these decks are identical. They all have the same 16 cards in it. This player aid goes in the middle of the table so everyone can see which cards are in there. The game is very simple. Everyone is building a 4x4 grid. On your turn, you draw the top 3 cards, and you secretly look at them. Nobody else will be able to see these. From these, you're going to select 2 of them. The one you don't select, you can just put back on top of your pile, and you have these 2. Once everybody's ready, they reveal the cards on the table like this, and people add up these numbers. Whoever has the lowest sum, or tied for the lowest sums, has to discard one of these cards out of the game. And then players are going to start building their jungle. The first card obviously just goes somewhere, and then every other card has to go orthogonally adjacent to at least one card in your area, knowing that you can never go larger than a 4x4 area. Now it can get a little tricky, as we know that the purple temple has to be mated by the purple adventurer, blue and orange and green. So we look at this purple one and we see, well, the purple player has to come from the right, so we probably want this to be at least be on the left half of the grid, where this green player has to get to their temple from the top. So we know that this is sort of going to be towards the left and top of our grid as we continue to go on. This continues until everyone is out of cards. Everyone will end on the same turn. And one more thing is you have to always play them with the numbers in the upper left. You can never turn them. And it doesn't matter if pathways go to dead ends. That's quite fine. And at the end, you're going to score 3 points for each adventurer that gets to their colored temple. So this should be 3 points. And if through their shortest path they go through gold, they get 2 points for each gold they go through. So this was 5 points, 3 and 2. If you're able to go through there to the temple, you get 3 points, and 1 crystal, you get a point for each of those crystals you go through. So this would have been 4 points. Now, this player will go through and come through here. It's 3 plus 2 is 5, and then this one can go right here. It's 3. Now, adventurers do block each other, so this blue one could not go through this adventurer and get to this temple, so this player would get no points for that blue one. You add up all the points, whoever has the most is the winner. Alright, well there's Karuba the Card Game. Now if you've played Karuba before, the one thing I like about this is it has the look and feel of Karuba. You've got the temples, you get the adventurers, you get the jungle. If you haven't played Karuba, no big deal. It just kind of looks cool. You're building your own path, you're building your own jungle. So I like that aspect of it. I love that there's literally no setup time. Pass everybody a deck, here you go. I mean literally 3 seconds and you're playing. I also like that you play it in 10 minutes. It's very quick. You're getting the cards, putting them down. The game's over before you know it, but it feels like you've played a longer game in a good way. And because it's so quick, because it's so engaging, you'll want to play multiple games in a row. I think I've never played this game less than 3 times in a row, and sometimes many more than that, because it's just really fun. And also because the puzzles change every game. Because you're shuffling your deck, you're drawing 3 cards, and you're picking 2 of those, and the order that those come out will change how you do it. It's such an amazing thing. There's not that many cards. I think there's only 16 cards, but every time you play, it still does feel different. If you like puzzly style games, this is definitely a great one to get. I like that you have to discard, the person who has the lowest sum has to discard a card, because it's not just, well, these cards make most sense, I'll go here now. No, you got to think, ooh, well, if I put this with this, I might lose one of these and I really need this. Or sometimes you could set up, hey, I got 2 low cards, I'm going to lose one. Which one do I want to lose? I'll lose this one instead of this one. Good decisions to make there. I like that it does feel like Karuba, but it also feels very different. Sure, you're trying to get your adventurers to the temple, but it still feels very different, because in Karuba, you're all playing the same exact game. Literally, the same numbers are coming up and everyone is playing the same game, but it's different. And I love that, about the original Karuba. But I also love this, that everyone is also playing a different game in this one. So again, but you're still building a pass, you're trying to get to the temples, and it feels very similar, but yet very different. I think that's the perfect thing to do. Whenever you're trying to do a card game version of a board game, it should be usually lighter, usually quicker, easier to set up, take up less space, have a similar feel, but yet feel different. This checks all the boxes in that. There's been plenty of card games that have done not justice to the board game. This does it great, and owning both of these is just fine. Any negatives? Well, it's a very spatially puzzly game where you're trying to figure out, you're trying to think ahead, you're trying to think about what you'll do, what should I do now? And for some people, that spatial aspect might cause some problems for them. So if you don't like spatial games, this might not be the one for you. And also, not necessarily a con, but it's good to know that the 2-player game is the most challenging and the most sort of unforgiving. Because the lowest sum loses a card, and that's statistically going to happen about every other turn in a 2-player game. With a 6-player game, it's going to happen like once every 6 times, about, statistically just evenly saying things. So 2-player game is pretty brutal. When I play this with my wife, it's a little harder, so sometimes we even play that every other turn somebody will lose a card or something like that. But 2-player game is the most brutal. But overall, I love this game. It's a great card game version of the board game. Feels different, but yet the same. And so this is getting inducted into my gaming library. So let's hit it up with a Saxophone Serenade. This has been the Game Boy Geek, helping you find and enjoy the next board game you'll love.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.